What's going on, everyone? Zane here with Everything Vive. I'm with Ronnie. Ronnie, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. So, first off, to everyone listening, just want to apologize. I know this Game Talk episode is coming to you a day late, but we did have some scheduling conflicts yesterday. And instead of rushing out an episode, Ronnie and I figured it would be better to actually set aside some time on Saturday and get the episode out to you guys. So, hope you guys are enjoying the start of your weekend so far. And yeah, you ready to jump into it, Ronnie?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about games.
Yes, I think this is the most fun part of the podcast we have. No, talking to devs is fun, but I feel like reviewing games is. Well, let's just jump into it. I don't know why I'm talking. Here we go. So first up, I'll start. We got Yore VR, and this is like an open sandbox survival type game. It's set in medieval times, and just to preface this, I will say that we do have an interview with the developer coming up, so we are excited to share that with you guys. But I guess a little background into it. I've done the basic tutorials in the beginning, but I mean it's a lot of like manual labor. You're chopping wood, you're mining coal, you're putting together these different things, and it's funny because I've read through the reviews and like people really enjoy this stuff. And I was going through and it's fun. Like I mean I don't know how else to say it. I guess after you maybe do it for a while, I don't know if there's a certain demographic that wouldn't really care for it, but for me, like it's cool to be able to do a lot of these like manual labor type of activities in VR and be able to move around in such a big space while still being able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I know. So I haven't played it yet. I do know that survival games in general are very popular on Steam and the PC in general right now. So, I mean, I'm excited to try something like that in VR for sure because I think there'd be a lot of potential for it. I mean, those activities, walking around with a controller and kind of clicking on items and storing them in inventory, that sort of thing is all fine and good, but I feel like engaging in the activities virtually, in VR would actually be more appealing because it would be more, or it could be more appealing, I should say, because it would be more kind of like the real thing. You'd kind of feel like you were, more involved with it. I don't know, like as far as, your time with the game, I mean, how detailed are some of the activities that you're doing?
I mean, it's pretty in depth, and that's I think what I like about it right now is the fact that when they talk about open sandbox, like this is something where you can like smelt your own weapons, and everything is very I guess for lack of better words customizable, which I think is exactly what this game is going for. And there's very few games out there right now, I think, doing the survival type of atmosphere, although I mean that is going to hit VR pretty heavily. I think you and I were kind of chatting about that beforehand, but this is a game it's set in like medieval times, so there's no like crazy tech or things like that. I mean you're literally chopping wood, trees, like it's all that old school type of stuff, and then you get to really just create around you the things that you want, like build your home, you create weapons, create tools, different things like that. So it's been really cool to explore it so far, and it's one of those games where I think what really appeals to people and the user base that's there right now is the fact that it's not a short experience, and in fact like it's a very long experience because it's one of those things where you could spend a lot of time in it just exploring all the different little Easter egg type of things that the developer has put in there. And so yeah, I mean I don't want to say one of a kind right now. I mean, that's not going to be the case with all these games coming out for VR, but it is unique in how it's going about doing the medieval setting with this survival type of game. And I've only had a chance to play it here and there, but it's one of those where like I know I'm going to sit down and spend some time in there just to really explore. And I think the really cool part about it right now is that it's an early access. So you're able to see all the different things that are being added to it. And I know the developer has been really active. I see him on the Reddit forums and things like that. That's actually where he and I connected in order to get the interview going. But the community feedback has been awesome. And so, if you get this game now, I actually picked it up about a week ago during the Cyber Monday, Black Friday kind of deals. It was on sale. And so if you grab it, like you can really be an integral part of shaping how this game plays out.
Very cool. How much is it? Do you remember? I don't know. Since you got it on sale, I'm not really sure.
It was so right now it's $15, 14.99.
Okay.
Then that's US dollars because I know we do have quite a few international listeners. So thank you guys for tuning in. First off, but it is 15 or 14.99 US dollars, and I think I got it on sale for maybe I want to say 25 to 30% off. It was like a weird number. It was like 11 something.
Okay. Gotcha.
So, but I with the winter sale coming up, I know I saw some announcements for that starting later in December. This might be a title to keep an eye out for when that does come around.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yes, you will. So you got one, Ronnie?
Yeah, it's an oldie but a goodie. We haven't talked about it. Every now and then I kind of look over my Steam catalog to see what what experiences we maybe haven't talked about yet that are things that should be brought up on the podcast. Something that especially new Vive owners shouldn't miss out on. And
Well, especially
one of
because
those,
a lot. Sorry to cut you off, but a lot of people
go ahead.
got their Vives over that Black Friday deal. I've just been
Yeah,
seeing in all the forums like people excited to get their Vives. So
awesome.
even though this is old to us, this is new to them.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So with that in mind, for any new listeners out there, especially budget cuts, there's a demo out for it free on Steam, and it's definitely something that you should check out. I mean, I always love bringing all of these free experiences to people's attention because everything can get pretty expensive. So it's always nice to have something that you can just go and pick up, free of cost. And Budget Cuts is a demo that's out there. It's still being worked on. It's the developers are still hard at work to make the final product. So there is a full game that's eventually going to come out at some point. At least that's still the plan as far as I can tell. I haven't talked to the developer or anything, but their website's up. It looks like they're still trucking along.
Yeah,
And
I
this
think they have a
demo,
2017 release date, so it may be
okay,
a little bit, but I mean, yeah. Sorry,
okay.
go ahead.
Oh no, that's good to know. So, but this demo itself is very impressive, and some of the things, really the things it does right are some of those intangibles that are hard to kind of explain until you try it. But just everything feels right in the game. Movement is nice and tight. It was one of the first games that really utilized teleportation well, and I still think it's one of the best examples of teleportation and how it should work. Not that many titles are really as polished as it. I think in terms of how it gets you around. Basically, you use a tool to allow you to move from place to place, and when you push the large center circle button on the correct Vive controller, it makes a little dotted line with the circle that you can move around and find a place that you want to open it up. But what's kind of unique about it is when you select an area, it before you actually travel over to that area, it shows you kind of a zoomed in view of what it's going to look like from that point of view. So you can kind of almost use it as a viewfinder to figure out what area you're actually going to be facing and teleporting to. And then when you kind of zoom back into it, if you're going to select it, it goes from being kind of like a magnifying glass to just enveloping you, and now all of a sudden you're in that spot. So it's really nice, especially if you're going to be moving from place to place in certain types of strategic stealthy type situations, to know exactly if you're going to be in cover when you teleport, if an enemy that you're out to get is going to be in view from that location, all that sort of stuff. And that's something that's done, like I said, better than I think even newer games that are coming out right now that are like you just don't see a lot of games with that level of polish and how they're working on the locomotion. So that's cool about it. And the best way to describe the game itself is kind of like Unseen Diplomacy, a game that we have talked about on this podcast before and interviewed the developer for. It's a stealth, it's a stealth game where you kind of feel like you're a spy infiltrating a building, and the difference is this building is filled with killer robots, and so you're kind of navigating around trying to get to the end of the map, while at the same time avoiding these robots and kind of figuring out how they move around the environment and finding tools and weapons that you can use in order to take them out on your way to your goal. So it's very cool. The style is great. The atmosphere is great. You have a really very, very strong sense of presence, and yeah. So it's the demo's free. Like Zane was saying, the full product is going to come out sometime in 2017, hopefully. But in the meantime, definitely check out that demo. I can tell you that you and your friends will definitely have a great time playing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just checking the Steam store page, and all it said was 2017. So hopefully that'll be
Okay,
early 2017. But yeah,
cool.
I mean, to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, for something that came out like very close to the launch of the Vive, I think it might have even launched, right when the Vive came out.
Hmm.
It does have a very impressive like feel to it.
Hmm.
Very like intuitive. That the graphics, the visuals are fantastic, and so
Hmm.
I'm excited for the full game because it does have that polish.
Yeah.
I don't know people. I guess people who've played games that have come out now or within the last however many months since the Vive was released, there might be there's games out there now that do have that same level of polish and gameplay and type. So I don't know how that'll compare. I don't know what they're doing to really kind of differentiate when it does come out
Hmm.
in 2017. But yeah, I
Hmm.
mean, when it was like one of the first titles out there, I remember you were telling me like budget cuts, and even just hearing like the initial stories when the Vive was launched, like budget cuts was like the demo that everybody had to get and try because it really provided that full immersion experience in a
Yeah, and
really
it uses room scale really well as well. So
cool, cool. Well, yeah, for anyone who just got their Vive, and for anyone who hasn't played it yet, I'm guilty in that camp as of just a little while ago. Make sure you get it. It's free on Steam, or the demo is free on Steam, and so yeah, no reason not to grab that.
cool. So yeah, I think you had the next game that you wanted. Actually, yeah, we were going to talk about a game together. I think, right?
Yeah, yeah. So only 3 games this week because this one I'm really excited about. It's another demo, and we Ronnie and I actually had the chance to play it earlier this week, and it's a local multiplayer game which I'm really excited to see more of. It's called Panoptic, and you can download the Panoptic demo now. It's available on Steam, and it's the best way I can describe it. It's like a God versus man type game where you have the person who's in the headset able to look, from a bird's eye view at the entire play area. And then you have the person who's using the keyboard on the computer, mouse and keyboard, to be able to navigate through that area. And the person on the keyboard and on the computer has to get from point A to point B. Of course, there's a lot of obstacles and things in the way, and the person in the headset has to shoot them with a laser beam. And it's super simple in everything pretty much. It's simple in gameplay, it's simple in mechanics, it's simple in graphics, but I mean, we got lost for hours in there, and it's for everyone that I've showed VR to already, like this is like, hey, it's time for you guys to come back because there's new like multiplayer, local multiplayer experiences that you guys can try. So I don't know. What are your thoughts, Ronnie?
Yeah, no, I was really impressed with it, and I can't wait for the final product when they add in more levels and more activities and that kind of thing. The What we played was super cool and showed a lot of cool design elements and a lot of fun to play. Like you said, one player is basically the player in the Vive is essentially a floating mask that's huge, and it's kind of like a spotlight that kind of shines in the environment. And the other player that's on the screen on the TV or monitor is a little kind of figure that's trying to navigate this environment amongst tons of AI little creatures as well.
That
They're
look
all like you.
identical. Yeah.
Yeah, they all look like you, and they're all moving about the environment back and forth, and you have an endpoint that you're trying to get to without being spotted. And it's just, it's cool on both fronts. So being the player on the screen. It's fun to kind of know that you know you have great indicators to see when the Vive player is looking at you from the spotlight, and kind of you have a sense of when they're getting close, and when they might be able to spot you, and and then from inside the headset, you feel like you're kind of in a you're in a play area, almost like a miniature, like a miniature setup where, you know, there's there's an environment around you, and then there's these little, almost toy looking figures walking around,
Yeah, it's like a
and you know that
dollhouse perspective.
exactly, and it's just really cool, and it'd be cool, even if you weren't playing with someone, but the fact that one of your friends is actually controlling one of those little guys and trying to get to the end is it's really cool. So, and it was surprisingly hard. I mean, whether I was in the Vive or whether I was playing on the screen, I thought it was challenging on both ends, and it'll only get more and more fun as there's more types of environments and more types of goals for for both parties. I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there, and even more so than a lot of the other. I've played a few local multiplayer games, but not a ton yet. And I just think that this is a really well executed one. That's a whole lot of fun, and the fact that the demo's for free, it's a no brainer. You should have this game because this is definitely going to be one that you're going to pull out when you have people over in order to not only engage people that are trying virtual reality for the first time, but to also have someone else join in on the fun as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, VR always, or at least currently, is getting this bad rep for being very antisocial, being very like singular in like terms of player experiences, and actually that kind of like goes back to the conversation we had with Nick from Rec Room, the Rec Room development team, and how like you're seeing all these different like multiplayer experiences come in. So to see, I know there's a bunch of other local multiplayer games out right now. I think Ronnie, you and I mentioned like VR Diner Duo in the past, but we want to dive into those games quite a bit before we kind of give our 2 cents on the podcast. This is, like I said, the fact that it was just so simple, and the fact that it was free, like it comes with a big gold star in terms of like recommendation from both of us, just because we had a blast playing it, and everyone that I've shown it to so far really enjoys it.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I thought they did a good job of, I mean, like I said, I'll be curious to see what the final product looks like, but I feel like the demo gives you enough to understand the concept, while at the same time not giving it all away. So, like, assuming that they have a lot more in the works as far as environments and all that kind of thing, like, you can see from this demo why it's such a promising idea and why it's a lot of fun. And the demo itself is fun in and of itself. But then, uh, but then you can also see why you'll want to buy the game when it comes out after playing this demo, because yeah, having more levels and more content there will be a great value.
Yeah, no game will ever be the same, just because you're gonna have people who like respond differently to the environment within there. At least people who are like on like the PC side of it rather than in the VR headset.
Yeah.
So, and like it's a very simple level, so I can't wait to see what else what other types of games, or what other types of levels or gameplay mechanics they can add to it as we go along.
Yep. Yep.
Cool. Well, so that's all we have for this week. Is there anything you're looking forward to playing next week?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. There's definitely, I mean, a few games that I know. I picked up Everest VR during the Black Friday sale, and I've been meaning to check that out. The graphics look great, the environment looked great. The price was always steep for me, and I thought the sale was enough to where it seemed like something worth picking up. So I'll give my thoughts on that probably soon. As far as other games, yeah, I've been meaning to do VR Diner Duo. I picked that up a while back, and I just haven't had a chance to play it yet. And a couple of other games, but yeah, plenty on. In general, I was talking to you about this the other day. I do think that there's a lot of great games coming out right now. I mean, there's always been a decent stream of games, but I feel like in the past month and a half, I've really felt like there's just more and more and more. I mean, there's really an overwhelming number of titles to try right now. So I can't, it's a great time to be a Vive owner, and it's a great time to pick one up for the first time, because I think anyone that is hesitant to put down the money towards a system will be pleasantly surprised. There's tons of content out right now that is experimental and fun and weird and engaging, and just a blast to play. So
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, it's almost like overwhelming every time now I go into Steam and filter out by release date. There's just so many titles, and it's overwhelming in a great way, because I love seeing all the different titles. But my wallet's not too happy with all the games that I'm picking up.
yeah.
But that being said, we will continue to find the best games that are out there, and hopefully some of these like hidden gems, because I hadn't heard about Panoptic until I saw like a random thread on Reddit that was just kind of discussing some of the local multiplayer games. So for anyone who wants to check it out, can't recommend it enough. And yeah, I guess I think that's all we got. Oh, I should probably say what games I'm looking forward to playing. I think it's honestly just Yore VR for me. I really want to dive further into that game, and so I'll probably spend the next week playing that. But whatever else does come up in the next week, I'll make sure to mention in next week's Game Talk episode. So is that you got anything else, Ronnie?
No, I think that's it. So I'm excited to play some games. The ones I mentioned and some of the ones you mentioned, I'm gonna check out some more as well. And just in general, hopefully I'll have enough time to get away from everybody for a little bit to check some stuff out. And I'm excited to talk to you again next week.
Sounds good, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. And for everyone listening, please do the same. Stay safe, and we will catch you all again on Monday. Take care, and we'll talk soon.